This is Adam Watson.
Robert Diaz.
Levon Baker.
You're listening to the Darkslinger Mafia podcast. So, finally got something in this week. And here are yours, Robert.
A fat stack of comics. I paid for all this?
Yeah, you paid for all that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
$25 got you all that. Go ahead and say what all that is.
I paid you $25?
You actually paid $31 because technically you paid for shipping because there's not an option on Kickstarter to just say local pickup like on eBay and things like that. There are a few improvements Kickstarter could definitely make. Number one is just a drop down menu of the type, and include local pickup, because I gotta say, at least 10% of every single Kickstarter I do is people in the area that I see regularly who would gladly just choose local pickup and not have to pay shipping, right? The other thing is that shipping amount actually goes towards the goal you make on there.
Really?
Yeah. So you have to do the double math of figuring out, okay, if this goes to New York versus if I ship it from Oregon to Washington, something like that. What's the worst case scenario looking like here, that kind of stuff, and try and get it all covered. But at the same time, make your goal small enough that you can actually reach it,
Right.
So,
is there some sort of thing to add on for international then?
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Just a different option, I suppose, for people to click on?
Yes. Yeah, it used to be a thing to where you would make two individual tiers, one that was for the domestic backers and one that was for the international backers. But now they actually have it to where you can coordinate it a little bit better. You can be like, okay, shipping is this much international, this much Canada, because Canada is always cheaper than other international places. But the weird thing is, Canada is cheaper, Mexico is really not.
Well, I mean, in terms of distance from here to Canada isn't very far.
The distance from here to Mexico isn't very far.
Further.
Okay, I'm talking about from America to Canada, like anywhere in America to Canada, is cheaper than all other international locations. But Mexico, that also touches us, is not cheaper.
There's that wall you gotta throw the stuff over.
I guess so. I guess.
Canada, you just kind of walk through the trees and you're in there.
I guess so. But yeah, in any case, what do you think?
Looks good. I like the way they look. If I'm gonna pick one to open, because I didn't even remember how much I paid you.
$31 in total.
Apparently so. All right, I'll open the issue number 1.
Okay.
Instead of the 3 raw.
Yes. Do you like the way the raw look?
I do. It looks raw, like it says, black and white. I don't know what the inside's gonna look like, how raw that actually is.
I think they look good.
What exactly do you mean by raw without?
I mean that they're not colored, they're not touched, they're just the straight pencils with lettering over the top of it. So if you look at the difference between the cover of issue number 1 colored and then the just Joel's pencils, you'll kind of see the difference.
Yeah, it looks a lot less refined.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at that, I like
You're getting tape on there.
the bit that's unrefined. Well, you know what?
I was so careful when I packaged these, and now I'm watching you open it.
Hey.
It's like, why did I bother, Robert?
Hey, fuck off, it's mine. I bought it.
That's right, you can do whatever you want with it.
I paid
$31 exactly.
You paid $31, that's right.
So that you can tape it up and tear it.
Yeah.
That's true. You can do whatever he wants with it.
Well, looking out, it smells so brand new.
I know, they do have a very, very strong odor to them, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are all of them like that?
Oh, yes. Yes, when they first arrived, the smell was clear through the whole house. I've been here for the last couple of days, so I don't know. You guys have to tell me, does the whole house still smell like it?
No, but just opening the book, you
I can smell the book over here.
It's familiar, but I don't know how exactly to describe that smell. It's like a new paper book smell.
Yeah. I guess I've been in bookstores at times when they've had that smell.
Yeah, I feel like you don't get it too often, though.
Right.
It's because it mingles with all the people that walk through there.
Probably.
Get
Especially those that
on
don't
it.
believe in deodorant or anything like that. So does lettering look nice and legible, all that?
Yeah, looks really good. I like the feel of the of the paper.
Yeah, I did
that
an uncoated
glossiness.
paper because I don't like to read gloss. I read a lot when I'm like laying in bed with the lamp on, right? To me, it's not appealing.
Even looking at it, with this light right next to me, it doesn't. There's a little bit of a shine, but there's not like some sort of reflectiveness off
Right.
it. You can't actually read what's under it.
Yeah, I specifically wanted that because I didn't want there to be shiny quality. Now, the raw copies do have a bit more because the printer that I used for those don't have non-slick options because they're a digital printer and it's a different type of paper.
I
So
like
their
this
paper is a little bit
that you
more.
went with.
Yeah, I think the paper turned out really well. Now, there have been some problems after delivery. The
Is it
biggest
an
one
older sort of
of
look?
which being that there wasn't any packing put in with any of the issues.
None?
None.
They're
There's
just like
a-
thrown in a box?
Yes, there's a tremendous amount of space that was left available in each of the boxes, and they put 2 stacks per box, but the stacks are not divided by a piece of cardboard. There's nothing around the edges to protect them. So far, I've only managed to go through 193 out of the 2,000 copies that should be there. And in those 193, I found 41 that are damaged beyond what I think are sellable.
That's fucked
So
up.
I'm
Yeah.
currently in communication with Perner to find out what's going on, but I'm also having to do a bit more work to get the issues to where I even think that they're sellable than I would like to make, because in addition to just being damaged, all of the issues have big gaps to the spines. So you'll see this is actually laying down pretty well now because it's been in a bag and a board.
Yeah, it has that big bump in the middle.
Yeah, there's a big bump in the middle, and I'm hoping that those that I sent out, I try to pick out the absolute best copies I could.
Not quite like this.
This is flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was done by digital printer. Generally, digital printing creates more of a bump than offset printing does.
And that's for the raw edition, I mean.
That's for the raw edition, yeah. So I was kind of surprised to see that there was such a variance with the way they arrived. But so far, all the boxes that I've opened, they've just been scattered inside. So I'm really having to kind of search around for the best copies to send out with the Kickstarters, make sure there's no damage to any of them, bag and board them, and try to get the packages nice and tight to the point to where they'll flatten down more during shipping. Hopefully they all did, and hopefully I don't get anything from any of the backers, saying, hey, this looks horrible. You need to send me out a new copy. Hopefully I don't get that.
I like the look of the raw edition.
Yeah, I think the
On the
raw
inside.
editions turned out great.
Yeah.
I didn't know how they would print just being penciled, but I think that they turned out great. So I'm currently in communication with that printer to see what they're going to do about any of the damages. But the problem is I have to go through all 2,000 copies to figure out just how many of them are damaged beyond sell.
Exciting.
Right?
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, 19 boxes in total. So far, I've only managed to go through 2 of the boxes and found 41 that were badly damaged.
19 boxes.
19 boxes, yeah. Yeah. And normally, when I get new printing, I just leave them in the cases until I'm ready to distribute them or take them to cons or something like that. The Who Will Save the World books have been sitting in the original shipping containers for 5 years. And when I open up one of those, everything in there looks exactly like it should, because they actually put something to the side of the books, and they put a little bit of craft paper in there to make sure everything stayed nice and steady, and the top copy wasn't getting scuffed, things like that.
Nothing too much that you'd expect that.
So far, all of the copies I've ever pulled out of Who Will Save the World, I've never found a single one that was damaged. That being said, you kind of expect when you do large print-offs that you're going to find a few copies that are damaged. A few is a little bit different than what is currently a 17%.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, because that's what the math works out to.
Yeah.
Is roughly 17%. So yeah.
That sucks.
17% of what you've gone through?
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully that's not to say that doesn't carry over for all of them.
That's what I'm hoping. And I don't know exactly what's going to be done about it quite yet. So he's having me send him pictures, all that. And I haven't had any sort of offer from them yet. of what they plan to do. So I don't know if they plan to rerun the damaged copies.
Or
if
kindly tell you to fuck off.
Well, they better not do that.
After
if they
all
do
that
that,
work,
then
yeah.
it's going to be escalated by me. And they can't tell me to kindly fuck off because the moment that I paid them for a service that didn't get fully delivered.
Right.
So they could offer me a refund for the amount that I don't find sellable. Or if they want to rerun them, you know, but...
Either one would be good.
Either one would be good as long as copies that got reran were actually reran properly.
Right.
Because
Packaged
obviously...
properly.
Yeah, packaged properly. You know, but it's both a bindery issue and a packaging issue. The packaging sucked. It wasn't there. They were just slopped into a box. The bindery, they didn't flatten the books out before they staple them. So the bookletting process was not done properly. So in any case, you know, that's what I'm dealing with this week. But on the plus side, I did find enough copies that the Kickstarter is mainly fulfilled at this point.
Nice. That's a good thing.
What else do you have to get out?
I still have to get out the t-shirt orders, since they're a bigger thing to package. I saved those for last. And then just the copies that I have to hand off in person. And then there are actually a few backers that still haven't got me their surveys. And they're people that I don't know personally.
You know, maybe because I paid for it, I should give these back to you and make you ship them to me.
Maybe I would tell you to kindly fuck off.
You deserve the full service. You paid for the service, and he's unfulfilling it.
He made that joke with the Chronicles von Helsing glass and Elbow Vine Morte #1 too.
He'd end up sending me just a box that says kindly fuck off.
Were they just slopped in there with no packaging?
Yeah, it's all bad.
I would slop in pieces of paper that each had one letter on it. And when he assembled it all,
make it
would say, kindly fuck off.
Yeah, I don't think that he could haphazardly throw his own stuff that he was selling into a box like that.
No, that's why these wouldn't be included in there. I would just have pieces of paper that spelled it out.
It's a puzzle game. You have to figure out what the phrase says.
That'd be funny.
It might be.
I'd accept
Might be. I'd have to do that too at some point. But I think in total there are only, I'm going to say 10 to 15 that need to be handed off or shipped with t-shirts.
Not bad.
Yeah.
No, not bad at all.
Nearly fulfilled.
Nearly. Yep, getting there. So Levon, how's it going on in Sperato?
Pretty good. Still working on the pencils for the first, 6 pages?
Yeah.
6 pages of art. So, yeah, I've been working on and off on that. It's getting there. You've obviously seen the revisions that we had to do, and it's been a little bit of a hazard with all the stuff going on lately at home. But I'm thinking the next 2 weeks should at least have the pencils done.
Okay.
As long as I can stay on top of it and not have too many things interrupting. But
yeah, that's one of the biggest pain in the asses about doing this.
Of working at home.
Working at home or working in a creative way, period. Because even when you go to work somewhere else, you'll find like people just randomly show up because they know you work there, and they're like, "Oh, you don't have a real job. I'll just come by here and bother you." That's why I primarily write at night after everybody's gone to sleep, right?
In the dark
shadows.
But
there have been, like the relationship I have really works because we're on different time schedules, so it doesn't matter to her if I'm up late at night, like working on eBay stuff or writing or whatever, right? And she can be laying in bed and writing. I'm writing, and she's not bothering me. She's just sleeping, right? There was one relationship I had in the past, though, where the girl was really obsessed with trying to stay awake as late as me. Every night, all the time. And it made it really fucking difficult to write. Because, like, when somebody's always at the same time as you and in your space and wanting to be near you all the time, it's hard to do that kind of shit, you know?
But your creativeness just flows into doodling little pictures of murder.
Basically. So it's always better when you're in a relationship. It's almost better if the other person either goes to sleep before you do or you wake up before them. One of the two, just so you can have, like, your creative time. But, you know, I've also had it where it'll be like a day where I'm trying to get writing done, and all of a sudden Robert and Alex will show up at two varying times, like not at the same time. And Sam will show up that day, and Kate will just spontaneously appear. She'll be like, I'm here. I'm like, I didn't ask. Get out of here. I'm trying to write. Well, you can write when I'm here. Let me just tell you about my whole day while you're writing. No, Kate, don't do that.
Can't concentrate. I'm writing your life story instead.
And you would think, her being editor for the company at one point in time, she'd get that fact, right?
No.
No.
See, and my problem right now is that I have the basic outlines for the 6 pages.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I was doing was any of the corrections, I was just using the light box to trace whatever was okay and then fix the part that wasn't.
Okay.
So that's not a big deal. And then I take the pages to work, and when it's completely dead and I'm done with everything at work, then I'll sit in a little shack and do it. But now I'm at the point where I have all these other corrections to do, and I have no light box at work, don't want to take them and work on them and then have them not look even or consistent.
Okay.
So it's sitting there waiting for me to finish the couple touches so that I can take it and work on it at night.
Mm.
And I'm not getting an opportunity between everything else to do it.
Yeah.
And you got to watch out at work that you're not getting kidnapped by a couple wizards.
Oh, did I tell you they came back?
No.
Yeah.
There's a part 2.
Yeah, there was a part. There's actually like part 7 or 8.
Oh, jeez.
Still, it's the most extreme.
We're not going to see it next week.
I mean, they've been coming back every now and then. Not doing weird stuff, not wearing weird costumes. They're obviously gacked out, but
what the hell does gacked out mean?
Like, just totally fucked up on whatever they're
smoking. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there was one night where they opened their car door and I could literally smell it smelled like burning shit.
So like crackheads.
Yeah. But the one night that they came back, it was actually the night we had talked on the podcast about them coming back. Pulls up and the dude's not talking like he's, some kind of fantasy character anymore. He's talking like he's fucking Irish, and he's like, "Top of the morning to you." I'm like, what the fuck? Gets his gas and leaves. Comes back the next day and comes inside the store, and we're all sitting there talking about like whatever with customers. And he's just like, yeah, the world's pretty weird if you choose to follow that rabbit hole, so be it. You will find strange things, but that's only if your heart inquires it. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about, man?
The Hobbit mixed with Twilight Zone mixed with Alice in Wonderland or some shit?
Yeah, it was like all of a sudden becoming all like weird philosophical.
Right, on crack.
Yeah. It was weird, but
I thought
aside from
that
really
like weed was a philosophy drug and LSD and
hey, don't doubt how crack can expand your mind, man.
I guess so.
I mean, it makes you put clown masks on and talk like you're fucking riding a horse through the Shires. But...
I didn't know that. My sister
apparently
that was on crack, it just made her abandon her kid for 4 weeks. So yeah.
This just took a dark turn.
Yeah, well, that's actually true. Like, her kid, they were apparently living at Farr Park, right? And I hadn't seen the sister for probably a decade and a half. And they were living at this park that's 2 miles from where we're at currently?
Probably, yeah.
And I had no idea. And this was back when I was married to Emily. Kate was watching the kids for us. And she calls me up and she's like, hey, do you have this sister? Whose name I'm not going to say on the podcast, just to be nice. And she's like, do you have a sister named this? I know you have 100 sisters. I'm like, yes, why? Because she just came knocking on the door asking if you had her kid. I was like, lock all the fucking doors. Any of my DVDs, you move away from the windows. Nothing valuable that can be seen through the windows. How does she know where the fuck I live? She's like, So I get home and I call one of my siblings who's not a crackhead. And he tells me that what has happened is that they were living at the park. And she left for 2-3 weeks, cracked out of her head. And her kid, who I think was 12 or 13 at the time, I'm not sure his age, he finally ran out of food. So I guess at least she had left the tent full of food. Probably Twinkies and Ding Dongs and shit like that, but still. He ran out of food, so he went wandering in the middle of the night trying to find his mom, because, hey, you've left me here for weeks. And he's 12, 13, something like that. And he's walking down the street in the middle of the night and gets hit by a truck.
Holy shit.
Fuck.
So, yeah, luckily the truck was just pulling out of the driveway. So it didn't injure him badly, but he did get, it was either a broken ankle or a broken arm. I don't remember which one. And when he was at the hospital, DHS stepped in, or whatever they're called now, and had him go stay with a family member who wasn't a tweaker. So she came by here, and I, honest to God, have absolutely no clue how the hell she knew where I lived. But she came by here.
Internet?
I guess. But she's a crackhead that lives in a campground. Where the hell did she get the internet from? But
it's free at the library.
Yeah, I guess so. This was in the middle of the night, though. This is like 9 o'clock at night.
Well, obviously she Googled before 9 o'clock.
The question is this during a time period where smartphones existed or not?
Yes, but not during a time period where you easily could have found someone's address. I mean, like, I don't know, though. Crackheads might be really good at that. Who knows? But in any case, she was trying to figure out which one of her relatives had her kid. And it's like, if they took him, they don't actually want you to know that. And they're not just going to let you walk off with him. Whatever family member took him is probably going to keep him. Because you're a crackhead. So,
Fuck that shit.
Right? But in any case, I know it didn't make her all of a sudden poetic or anything like that. Just made her scream a lot and charge at people.
I guess
not reciting limericks and stuff?
No.
I guess this guy found the combination.
He did. Maybe he's not doing crack. Maybe it's like Thai stick or something.
Maybe he just smells like shit and he's really weird.
That could be. That actually really could be. I mean, this area. Think
it
about
is
that.
Malala.
Yeah.
Maybe he just hangs out with tweakers.
Maybe.
And doesn't actually do anything, but he's picked up their vibes.
Maybe. Does he have a lot of gross-looking boils all over his face?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, this guy's like big, heavy-set, nasty dude. It looked like he had like canker sores and all sorts of crap on his face and lips.
Gross.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Cold sores all over.
All right, this podcast definitely took a weird turn.
Yeah, dark and weird.
So in any case, as the Kickstarter's winding down, now I'm left wondering what my next one should be. So I'm starting to kind of formulate that.
Gotta make your next move, man.
I know. And you kind of have to start one up again right after it's kind of like doing or being in a band. You have to make the CD, then tour, then make the CD, then tour, then make the CD, then tour, So I'm kind of stuck wondering what I want my next one to be. So what's your guys' opinions on that?
Oof.
It's not something I'm going to be launching in the next month, by the way.
I really like the idea of the action figures that we were talking about.
Okay, I like that idea, but there's a lot of different things to think about there.
Right.
For starters, I've never mass-produced anything like that.
That's a good point.
For the next thing, I'm not quite positive how the distribution works with something like that quite yet.
Yeah.
And the final thing there is, where the hell would I warehouse that much?
That's a good point. I would almost say
Because one action figure, not a whole case, but one,
right,
takes up the space of how many comics or graphic novels.
Yeah, and I didn't think about the packaging, if you're going to actually do like a full package for it.
Why would I not if I'm making action figures?
And how many do you have to buy?
Yes. Exactly. And that's all stuff I don't know yet.
Pretty involved.
Good point, yeah.
But it is something that I want Joel to start drawing up. Oh, and speaking of Joel, quick shout out. Congratulations on the new baby.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah. He just sent me girl. He just sent me pictures yesterday. Adorable, adorable little smiling baby.
Mazel tov. Or whatever you say. I don't know.
Mazel tov?
I don't know how to say any words in... Is it Filipino they speak in the Philippines?
English.
He speaks English really well.
What do you want to do? Do you want to do comics? Do you want to do...
These are kind of my thoughts, okay? I had thought about doing the El Bovine Muerte Lay Mine for President campaign. But I kind of like the idea of just getting a website for that that's like Lay Mine for President. 2020, something like that. And doing it the old-fashioned way, where it's like buttons and bumper stickers and badges and stuff like that you can get on that site.
Yeah, and then I think you can go put them around in places and give them to people.
Yeah. And so I kind of wanted to do that one more like a political campaign would actually be done.
You can put up
and
signs
less
in
like
the
a
grass.
Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Yeah, that kind of
Right.
stuff. So, and I can sell that kind of stuff off the website.
Well, and you can use that as backer stuff too.
Mm-hmm. But I don't need to do that one as a Kickstarter or Indiegogo, and it might gain less traction if I do it that way.
Right.
Than if I do it just as an actual website, like playing it out like it's a real campaign, you know? Because you're not going to see someone who's going to do a presidential campaign next year doing a Kickstarter.
Well, you never know.
Well,
Yes,
they don't
you
do
never know,
Kickstarters, but they certainly do
Well,
stupid shit to raise funds for
Yes, they do.
themselves.
Vote for me
They
and
do.
you'll get a reward.
You know, personally, I would rather get a president who ran their campaign off Kickstarter or GoFundMe or stuff like that. At least that way we know where 100% of the funds came from.
President Camacho.
If only.
What are you talking about? We already have that.
Dude, our president does not come out on a monster truck with an AK-47 blazing in the air
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
with a big gold medal around his neck for Olympic wrestling. And he sure as shit does not look like Terry Crews.
Terry Crews for president. As
It was
President
Terry
Camacho.
Crews as president in that, right?
I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
He should reprise that.
I love that movie so much. And yeah, I'm not saying that that movie is not a documentary that we're seeing playing out right now. But we're still in the time period of the trailer guy who's having like the 40 kids where the smart couple can't have one. That's still the time period we're slightly in. We're stepping closer to idiocracy every day, though. But in any case, that was one idea. But I think I can just do that as a political campaign actually on a website. Not have to do it through Kickstarter or anything like that. And that way I can run it through the full year, too, and it won't just be a 30-day thing.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a better idea to not do it on there.
Yeah. So the other ideas I had are the Chronicles of Von Helsing hardcover.
That one would be cool.
Yeah.
They would collect issues number 1 through 5 in the Sally special, but colorized, with some of the artwork fixed up a bit in issues number 2 through 5. So, which I've already talked to Levon about doing. So that was one of my ideas. Another idea was doing a softcover trade paperback edition of issues number 1 through 4 available by Muerte.
I think that would be a cool one.
Okay.
Then you could actually use the Lay Mine for President stuff as reward.
I could do that.
Backer stuff.
Could do that.
Send out stickers and buttons.
The
with
other idea was Ghost Assassin issue number 2, but I don't like that one as much. And the whole reason I don't like that one as much is because I don't want to have to do a Kickstarter or make people think that that's the way it's coming out for every single issue of Ghost Assassin. So on this one, you know, I'm ready to start getting it distributed, get the next issue out, but I still do need some funds to get like all the coloring finished in some of the books, and that kind of brought me to another Kickstarter I could potentially do. I've seen people who are doing digital only Kickstarters, who are just doing them to get digital rewards done. And these can actually come in pretty handy if you're just looking to like finish the coloring, things like that, because it's a much smaller, you know, goal amount. And as soon as you hit that amount, bam, you have this digital reward that's available, right?
Right.
So I had thought about, well, you know, I have like issues number 2 and 3 complete, just need coloring. Issue number 4 is about halfway drawn. Just needs coloring on some of the stuff that's halfway, and you know, given a little bit of time, Joel will be done with the artwork on the whole entire thing. So I thought about doing like a digital only thing where I just kind of sought the money to have those issues colored, and then you know that's all I need in order to get digital editions out. The other thing I thought about was finally making the statues that I have ready to go of Genie and Lay Mime, but that one falls into the same category as doing action figures. Statues are huge boxes, take up a lot of space, and they're fragile.
Right.
So they're not something I'm going to want to move around all the time. That's better to wait until I have a warehouse with dedicated space that I can put these and, you know, say, okay, that's where they stay until they're ordered, you know.
That's a good point.
Because there's no way in hell I can fit those all in my house.
Right.
So those were kind of my basic thoughts, and those are the things that are kind of close to being ready or are ready. Of all of those, obviously, El Bovine Muerte is the thing that is the closest, because issues number 1, 2, 3, 4, and the half issue, those are all done. All that would need to happen is just have it assembled pagination way that, instead of issue number 1 being, 1 through 21, I change the page numbers, fix up any lettering that needs to be done. Maybe add in an afterword and a forward, have somebody do a page in the beginning saying, oh, I first discovered this, blah, 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 and then it turns out the person writing is Patrick Stewart, but not really. So.
Sincerely, Patrick Stewart.
Cosplayer.
Parentheses, not really.
No, I could just put, Patrick Stewart cosplayer.
There you go.
And then people be like, is this Patrick Stewart cosplaying when you wrote this? Is someone cosplaying as Patrick Stewart?
That's a good point.
And if I leave it vague, I don't think that I'm violating any laws. Maybe, kind of.
Maybe.
Well, and if you put that cosplayer in parentheses, it could be that's his job.
Right?
Instead of having so-and-so Marvel. He's just cosplayer. So my thoughts, I think EBM would be a good one.
Okay.
Because I think something that would be cool to do with the Chronicles would be to do something with the action figures, or at least have some kind of advertisement in the back.
Okay.
So that you could have a reward tier where you get a special action figure that's exclusive to that.
A send-away thing?
In a way to promote it, since we had already talked about doing send-aways and stuff.
Well, yeah, when I do the action figures, I want to have several different plans in place for doing some exclusives, because where I hate variants in comics, I don't hate them with toys.
Right.
So...
you can do all sorts of different stuff.
And when I was a kid, I always wanted to collect all of the points to do whatever the send-away figure was. That was the greatest thing. So I don't see why that needs to change as an adult when I make an action figure line.
Well, and that could be fun with black and white comic variant version, or a bloodied version.
Or I could have a send-away that's lay mime as Robert Von Helsing as he appears in El Bovine Muerte.
I definitely think EBM would be a good one to start with.
Or I could package one that was just Ben. The guy from Warrior and Keeper Creative, comics, whatever the hell he's calling himself currently. And I could package it as food. Food for the vampires.
That'd be pretty good.
Ben would be down for it.
That would be awesome.
Fun.
On the back of it, just put perfect snack for the vampires because he can't move very fast and can usually be found sitting on a couch.
Is the variation on that, Alex?
Yes. Alex, or I could do Alan. Be like, thought that he could kill a vampire with a scratch board. Turns out you can't.
He's just frightened with an X-Acto knife in his hand.
You could do a whole profile
He's
card.
scratched in a heart.
Couch
cross.
potato.
I hope that in the movie of my life, the Alan is played by Simon Pegg.
Oh my god.
That'd be pretty good.
It would be.
That would
be. Who would play you two? You would be played by the guy from Deathgasm.
Yeah, I could see that, considering I've already been told that I looked like him or that he looked like me.
Yeah, you look exactly like him. So, and you guys have similar personalities too, so it would work. He'd just basically be reprising his role from Deathgasm. Be no problem with that. Have you seen Deathgasm before, Robert?
No.
It's a great movie. Great movie. It's a heavy metal horror movie.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It sounds awful and great.
They find, what is it, the Black Note or the Black Hymnal?
Yeah, the Black Hymnal.
The Black Hymnal, and they accidentally create hell on earth. Everybody that they know is being taken over by all these demons, and yeah, it's a fucking great movie. And the one guy's just this total fucking prick who he's the big heavy metal, type guy, but the other one looks just like Levon. He's 110 pounds soaking wet, maybe. Do you even weigh that much?
My ID says I weigh 115, but I know...
I don't care about your ID. What do you weigh?
Yeah, it's probably about 109, 110.
Okay.
I think they rounded up because of my boots.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, he's like Levon size, and he's got the hair, and he's always wearing, the beanie, just like Levon.
There you go.
And doesn't he even wear a Misfits shirt at some point in that movie?
I don't know if he... I can't remember if he wears a Misfits shirt. I know he has... either the same Guar shirt that I wear or the patch on
Maybe
his
it was
vest.
Guar that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
In any case, it's Levon. I know who I'd want to play you in a movie about my life, but who would you want to play you?
Who were you gonna say?
Little Nil from Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, I was. Gonna,
Oh my
that's
God,
what
yeah.
I
Or
was,
Young Nil.
That's what I thought you were gonna say. So that's what I was gonna say. Young Neil.
That guy looks so much like you, or at least he does in that movie. I don't know if he normally does or not. But who would play me? That's the tough thing.
That is a very tough question.
Jack Black.
Jack Black. I don't know. I'm quite a bit taller than him. I'm not morbidly obese.
And he's really graying right now.
So am I.
Well,
So
but I mean,
that
like,
part
his
at least would
whole
work.
face
I
is
said that
just
as a
like
joke,
gray.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. Who would play me, Levon?
Oh God! You know, there was a guy that Lucas said was on that TV show Face Off.
Mm-hmm.
That he said that looked like it was you if you were 20 years younger, like today.
Okay.
I don't know what his name is.
I should
But
punch
he
Lucas
actually
in the
showed
face
me
for
it and it
saying
looked
things
like
like
it.
20 years younger.
Yeah, I know, it was kind of rude, especially considering the guy's like 40.
Right? Young little prick.
Right?
The guy's 40 and he
Yeah.
said that? I'm not 40. I'll punch him in the face.
Nicolas
Oh,
Cage.
Nick
Nicolas
Cage. Oh my God!
Have you guys seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse yet?
No.
I haven't.
Nicolas
yet.
Cage's Spider-Man Noir is some of the best casting of all time.
That movie it came out of nowhere for me, and then I'm like, it doesn't look that appealing.
Yeah, watch it. It is one of the best superhero movies that has came out. Like, period.
Really?
Yeah. I loved Venom, too. So if you get a chance, check that one out, too. But Into the Spider-Verse was just straight up fun. And the voice acting was really good. When I saw the previews, I didn't like the animation.
That's what
But when
I
you
don't really care
actually
for the way I
watch
see
it as a movie, the animation is not jarring or anything. It's perfectly fine when you're actually watching it as a full-on movie.
Well, going back to the Kickstarter.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
I think EBM would be your easiest.
Okay.
You could do that the fastest.
Okay.
You'd have the most likely chance of having the fewest hiccups because of how much you already have done.
Yes.
But it's not the idea I like the most.
And I have done a softcover graphic novel.
Yeah.
So that I can do, I know how to do already. Whereas Chronicles, the only hardcovers I've done were just print on demand editions from Lulu that were for backer incentives in the first ever Ghost Assassin and Chronicles Von Helsing Kickstarters, and they are not at all the type of hardcovers that I would like to see for the book. So I'm talking about producing something completely different for that. So what is the thing you would most like to see?
I like the Chronicles idea of
Okay.
the hardcover because I'd like to see it colored. It seems like it would be... It wants to be colored, I think.
Yeah.
Looking at it. Because it would help it pop so much more.
Well, there is one...
But it looks difficult to color.
No, not really, actually. I've already messed around with a few of the panels, and it's incredibly easy. The important thing to remember about coloring it is don't try and add in details where they don't belong. So I was having colorists send me submissions to see how they colored it and to see if there was anybody I liked, right? And I didn't like any of them. And then I just was screwing around with it one day when we had a windstorm, it was before the Ghost Assassin Kickstarter, so I'm going to say it was about a year and a half ago. We'd had a windstorm that knocked out all the power. Laptop still had a charge, couldn't get on the internet, had to do something. So I just started screwing around and coloring the pages in Photoshop, right? And I figured out what the problem was with every single colorist that had submitted to me. Every single one of them was using a new form of coloring where you add in a lot of light effects, you add in a lot of shading, you do this and that. Nope, just flat color. Flat color is what makes it pop. It doesn't detract, it doesn't anything, it just adds, you know?
As long as you're not popping too much with all your color.
That's exactly it. That's why you leave it flat, so that you're not making it completely pop. You're still leaving it something dark and
Yeah,
gritty.
because I would want the darker tones to it.
Yeah.
But that one seems like the biggest challenge. Well, not the biggest, but it seems like a pretty big challenge.
It will be, but it's also, like I said, I'm not planning on launching this Kickstarter next month. You know?
waiting for the toys and all that, that's a good idea, but that would take so long. You'd spend so much longer.
I almost kind of want to try something smaller in scale before I do that. Like, one of my thoughts, if I could do a Kickstarter towards the end of the year, was trying out my hand at a 3D printed Christmas ornament.
That'd be cool.
We have a different Christmas image on the postcards every single year, right? And I thought it might be really cool to try to do like a small 3D printed sculpt that used artwork from one of these images, and then just do like a Kickstarter, say like towards the end of October, where, you know, we kind of have this small but still kind of mass produced thing being ran through, and, you know, and maybe go through some of the hiccups on something smaller than something that's statue sized.
Right.
That would be a good idea for a small thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do 2 things this year, for the rest of the year, I would make them smaller things.
Yeah.
So that would work. And if you want to do 1, do EBM, because you have a lot less that you have to take all that time to figure out. I do.
The other thing I had been thinking and kicking around the idea of, though, is where I'm thinking about doing the newsprint line, and I've been talking about the new forms of distribution that I'm not quite ready to go into still, but I will be come May. We'll be talking heavily about that, actually. Is that I have been kicking around the idea of doing newsprinted editions of EBM that I could sell for like $2 and getting the popularity on that series up.
That would be a good idea to work towards the trade.
If you're going to do something like that, and you guys want to do this campaign thing,
mm-hmm.
you got to plan the campaign around the actual campaigns.
Right.
You'd have to bud that up with the distribution,
mm-hmm.
like, before you started following the other campaign with your own campaign. And then you'd have to mix in the Kickstarter because you'd want it all in one. So if you're going to do a Kickstarter for EBM, don't do it now.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to tie everything all in together. Because I think it should be a sequence of events where you do... Maybe you do the Kickstarter first,
mm-hmm.
or at the same time of trying to distribute, or maybe the distribution comes first.
Mm-hmm.
And then, while that's gaining traction, possibly before the Kickstarter ends, I don't know how long you want to run it. They
30 days.
30 or 60.
30 days is what's really encouraged.
Maybe right at the end, or a couple months after, you jump right into the campaign thing,
mm-hmm.
and like you let them know about something going on like that in the Kickstarter.
It's a good idea.
Launch the website at the same time as it's ending.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna do EBM, you gotta run it all at once in succession like that.
So
keep the fire going.
Okay.
I should probably turn that off because it might go off more.
So basically, there are 2 thoughts there. Chronicles von Helsing is more popular than EBM. So I would have less difficulty getting a hardcover edition of that funded than I would a softcover of EBM.
True.
The other thing is, what you're saying makes complete and utter sense, all that. But that leads me to another thing I keep meaning to bring up to you, Levon.
Yeah.
And since you're sitting here and whatever, we might as well just talk about it right now.
Right.
You're fired.
So, but you're rehired, so don't worry about it.
Sweet.
So
severely reduced pay, of course.
Aw.
Of course.
How can you reduce pay when you don't get paid? Do I get negative monies?
Yeah, you owe him.
Sweet.
Yeah, you owe me, motherfucker. So, anyway.
I think I got $1.50 in my wallet.
Deal.
I want to get a new Instagram going.
Okay.
That's for Lay Mime's political campaign.
Yeah.
Where I want to take real pictures and draw Lay Mime into them.
Okay.
So, I want to do things like, you know, the Lincoln Monument, have Lay Mime in his presidential running outfit laid out across the lap.
Yeah.
You know, maybe have Inspiratu do something inspiring as a vice president here or there.
Right.
Have Lay Mime talking about how he's got the biggest crowds gathered of all time and have 2 people in front of the stage when he's talking at his rally, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, that one is a dig of Trump, but
there's so many national monuments you can put him into.
Right. We can figure out a way to put him in the Washington Monument.
He can be the Statue of Liberty.
We've already made Inspiratu the Statue of Liberty. We might as well lay mime too.
No, save that. I think Inspiratu. He's better.
We did that as 4th of July pinup.
Yeah, you keep him, and then there's the Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore was definitely one of them. So the thing
is, could be carving himself.
I want to take actual, real photos. Right. So we got to look for like free to use photos.
Yeah.
Or stuff we take ourselves if we find monuments or whatever. Or this just looks like it'd be cool to do, and have it be Lay Mime's campaign trail.
Dude. Okay.
And so there would be cartoony elements.
Right.
Lay Mime is fake. Inspiratu's fake. Their touring bus is fake. The people around them are fake. So let's just say that we have Becky be the campaign manager.
Right.
So, which actually is not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So she's fake. The general maybe is Lay Mime's head of security. So he's fake. But Mount Rushmore is the real Mount Rushmore unless we change out one of the faces to Lay Mime's. Then that face is now fake. But the Statue of Liberty, it can be real. They can be fake in front of it, so...
What if
basically superimposing them into the actual
you're basically just drawing over the photo with Photoshop.
I think that'd be really fun.
You could look up these things that people see on road trip that they're like, oh, let's pull off the highway and look at that, and it's their campaign trail, and you're releasing it week by week as they make their way across.
Man, and then
that's
at the end,
what I'm hoping for,
like, the full,
he's
lines
all
and everything.
around.
So my hope is that each one of these won't take you a ton of time to do.
I don't think it would. I mean, if we're literally just
and honestly, it doesn't really
photo.
matter if you just save the overlays in Photoshop and we kind of reuse them in ways.
Just reuse your crowd for everyone. They're all the same.
It's always the same two people.
Well, I don't got a problem with that, but where we have them laid out across Lincoln's lap, make sure you save an overlay of that, because if we have Lay Mime laying on anything else, maybe it'll be the same basic shape that'll work out for that.
That's a good idea. One that I think would be fun that has absolutely nothing to do with that is that guy that jumped time.
Which guy?
I don't remember what the deal is. It's that one photo that's super old, but then the guy's walking by with a cell phone.
Oh, that was the dude in Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
No. Not yeah. Why are you just saying
I don't know. Because it's the same thing.
No, are you talking about the Charlie Chaplin video?
With the lady that has something up like that?
Yeah, it's something like that, where it's the lady had posted it,
It wasn't a lady, it was a guy. He was a documentarist.
I thought there was a different one where it was the husband and wife, or it was a couple or something.
There is one where it's in the Charlie Chaplin video. There's one where it's at the beach. And there's just a lone person walking down the beach who has something up to their ear that looks like a cell phone. There's the weird time travel photos of John Travolta and Nicolas Cage.
There's one of Jay-Z as well.
Jay-Z too?
Yeah.
Huh. There was one of Jennifer Lawrence. We know that one's not a time traveler because it was, what's her name? She's a dame, and she's an actress. Not Judi Dench. Wasn't Judi Dench.
I was going to say, just because that was the first name.
Right, Dame Judi Dench is what you think. Yeah. Maybe it was Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren?
I can't find the
Yeah, maybe. Whoever it was when they were younger, they actually looked exactly like Jennifer Lawrence. And Jon Stewart is actually who pointed out. And he's showing it to Jennifer Lawrence on The Daily Show, and she's like, I don't know who that is. Really? You're an actress and you don't know who somebody still living is? It's a famous actress.
Pretty bad.
Right? Way to study your craft there.
So I think if you're going to do Lay Mime, you want to save it for the right time. You should plan it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. So,
but that means you'd have to, if you want to do something else, you'd have to think of something else in the meantime.
I think the Chronicles hardcover makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
And I think it will be a lot of work, but once I really get going on the coloring, I mean, coloring Tony's stuff would be a lot more difficult for me, because I have a lot of reverence for Tony's stuff, a lot, and so much so that it makes me sick to my stomach to think about coloring anything Tony's done, because his paintings are so exceptionally colored that it's just kind of, sick to your stomach, inducing to think about coloring it.
Right.
So if I can't convince him to color it, I might have to find a colorist to do those pages, because I'm just not sure.
In fear of wrecking it.
Yeah, I feel inferior to that task, honestly. So anyway, I think that's about it for this week. So next week, I should be able to tell you guys what happened with the printing saga. Are they reprinting them for me, or are they just going to discount the issues that are damaged? How many issues are damaged exactly in all those boxes I haven't opened yet?
You're going to have gone through all of them by then?
I have to figure out what all is damaged. Without knowing how many copies are damaged, I have no idea what I paid for.
Yeah.
And they said they overshipped, which means that they overprinted and they sent out what they overprinted. If that's the case, maybe 200 copies are damaged, but maybe they shipped out 2,200, and then it wouldn't matter.
You don't know how many you have?
No, I know I ordered 2,000 copies this go around. I don't know how many they sent exactly, because he said they overshipped.
So they just overstuffed the boxes?
Oh, the boxes definitely were not overstuffed. Oh. That's for sure.
Well, guess you'll find out.
They were weirdly stuffed, where they were over here and over there and over here, and and two of them one of the boxes looked like there was some sort of effort to make them into two piles. One of them really did not. So I guess we'll see what the other boxes look like. Maybe I opened up the very last box that got packaged first, and they were just, being sloppy at that point. I don't know. So anyway, this is Adam Watson.
Robert Diaz.
Levon Baker.
Thank you for listening.
Tune in next week for the premiere of Darkslinger the movie, starring Tom Hardy as Adam Watson.
No.
Yeah,
no.
He's not that cool.
I don't know. This one picture.
The only person,
totally him.
The only person who can play me in a movie is Nathan Explosion.
Shia LaBeouf.
Nathan Explosion.
Nope, Shia LaBeouf. Yep, that's totally it.
I would kill you guys before I would let Shia LaBeouf play me in a movie.
I like how all three of us just said his last name differently.
It's because no one knows how to say
He's got the beard. Just give him a little mohawk.
He's got that weird look in his eye.
He's like 5'6".
So then he's young Adam Watson.
He could be you guys, but not me. I'm too tall for that guy.
No, I'm young Neil.
If you guys are going to have me be a shorter actor, at least Joseph Gordon-Levitt, you sons of bitches.
So Darkslinger, the movie starring Shia LaBeouf as everyone.
Yeah. Except for young Neil.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are going to be live action, though. I'm going to be played by Nathan Explosion. That's going to happen. So, thank you for listening.